What's up, everybody? Welcome to Standing Strong. So glad to have so many of you on here. A lot of you jumped on here early. Let me know where you're at. I want to welcome Carlos from Chile, which is pretty awesome. And this is your first ever MS gym session. So the word's spreading, y'all. Like we're getting international attention from neurologists, from physical therapists, and from people in the community that are just telling people like, hey, like this stuff works and this guy cares about us, and there's a community of people that are just like me. And just know that I'm only successful and this MS gym is only successful because of your efforts, not ours. Like we're not so great that we just figured this out and built it, and like we have awesome programs, which we do. But here's the thing, like I just want to let all of you know that like I could create the most biomechanically perfect, like neurologically perfect um programs on the planet, but if you don't like them and you don't use them and you don't see results from them, then like we can't grow. And we are coming up on our 8 year. We just launched 8 years, 8 years from when I first pressed play and went live for free. Right, I was working for free for like almost like 9 months in the MS gym, and over those 8 years, we've grown to like multiple thousands of people that are working with us all across the world. And it's because of your guys' efforts. It's because you're actually using this and applying this and believing in this, and you're saying yes, this works, and you're telling other people. So thank you so much. Like I'm gonna get emotional, but like thank you so much for being here. I just thank you for all the people that have been on these webinars this week. Like it's just been a really humbling experience for me, and I love it, and I love you guys. So let's get this party started. So just one housekeeping thing real quick. As always, so I don't like, it's great. I want to see your names pop up and where you're from and all that kind of fun stuff. If you do have specific questions over like your condition or some symptoms that you have or whatever, please post those in the comments below the video. All through the like this weekend, probably maybe tomorrow, and then all through next week, I'm going to be getting back and answering all the questions from all these workshops this week. I've been super slammed in between workshops, so I haven't gotten to a ton of them, but I will get to your questions. So if you have a particular question, please post it below the video once this video goes live, and I will make sure to get to those. All right. So today we're talking about standing strong, right? And so a lot of these exercises that we're going to be going over today are for higher mobility people with neurologic conditions. I am one of them now. I have not always been one of them. I have chronic neurologic Lyme, for those of you that don't know, and I've been managing it, battling it, and winning over the past 10 years using the power of movement, power of nutrition, power of supplementation, power of functional medicine, mindset, prayer, like working on my relationships, just becoming a healing person. And this is what's got me to this point. I would consider myself like a 9.5, 10 on a mobility scale for someone with neurologic conditions. And I'm just talking about 1 to 10, 1 being like, I can't get out of my bed, and 10 being like, I can do most things, but I still know I have some symptoms. This is not EDSS score. All right. So we're going to be talking about standing strong today, a lot of higher mobility stuff. So everything that I'm going to be going over today, the 5 exercises that we're going to be going over, is going to help you get stronger up on your feet. All right. So if you're someone who uses minimal resistance for exercise, for activities of daily living, and just to be you, like this workshop is for you. And these are specifically designed for you. Okay. So let's get into this real quick. I love this slide. It's one of my favorite slides to go over. Not that one. Hold on. Boop. This one. And this is the gait cycle. All right. So when we talk about the gait cycle, we go through a period where our legs are on, we have both feet on the ground. Okay. And we're shifting into the front leg so that the back leg can swing forward. Right. So that red leg that you see there, that becomes what's called your stance leg or your plant leg. So when you go from that first diagram to that second diagram, you strike contact. You have heel strike on that first diagram. Then you got toe push off. Okay. So from that toe push off, if we work our way up the black leg, that's an extension. So we've got a lot of gluteal work. We got a lot of hamstring work, and we got a lot of quad work, a lot of plantar flexion. Then when we get into the heel strike phase, okay, that is where all these muscles of the lower leg and the stabilizers of the hip have to kick in to then move you to the second diagram, that FF diagram, where your body weight shifts from the front or the heel into the forefoot, and we start to lean forward into our gait cycle. All right. When we look at the third picture here, we are putting all of our body weight on that red leg or your stance leg. Okay. And then we're going to start to move into what is called the swing phase, which is where our leg is swinging forward. Now, if you look at this gait cycle, there's 5 pictures here, right? These first 3 pictures are called the stance phase. 60% of your time when you are walking, 60% of the time you are in stance phase, which means we need to get really good at getting your body super strong, okay, in this position where you have 1 foot forward and 1 foot back, which I'll show you in a little bit. There's tons of stuff we can do for that. So in this position, in this stance phase, we need to have good vestibular function, which is balanced. We need to have good spinal control, good postural control, good abdominal control, good breath patterning, strong and stable hips, strong and stable ankles and feet. Okay, because when we're really strong in that stance phase where we have 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, that's going to allow the brain to feel really calm and confident and strong in that position, so that when it then picks up the leg to swing it forward and you go into the swing phase when you are on one leg, that's going to be the other 40% of your gait cycle. So we need to work on the entire jam. All right. So every exercise today is going to be improving some aspect of this gait cycle. Okay. So I'm going to start on exercises right now, and I want you to think about this diagram. So we're going to be working right now on the arm swing and the legs, and the stance phase, or the stability portion of your gait cycle. All right. So the first exercise that we're going to start off with is what's called a knee circle. Okay. Why I was stuttering is because sometimes we can use a band as well. So if you have bands that you can anchor, I'm going to show you a really cool exercise to use bands with. If you don't have bands right now, that's totally cool. I'm going to show you how to do this without it. Okay. So a band or a knee circle looks like this. So we're going to be in about a hip width position, and we're going to take a step forward. Okay, as if we were going to take a step forward in that gait cycle. So again, we're looking at that second diagram where we're right here. So we've already kind of hit the heel strike, and then we're leaning and we're moving into that next swing phase. But in order for you to swing your leg forward asymptomatically, meaning no foot drop, no circumduction gait, no knee kiss, no turning out of the hip, your brain needs to feel safe and confident on this front leg so that this part of you is nice and stable. Now, when we plant this leg and we're going to go swing, this portion of our body is actually directly activating the brain stem. Okay. The brain stem is really important for reflexive stability, or isometric stability, meaning that it's going to plant and hold my body solid as I swing that leg forward, which is the most threatening part of the gait cycle, which produces protective responses when the brain feels threatened. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to put you in that pre-swing phase. So you're going to take a step forward, and then you're going to lean forward so that your back heel is off the ground. Then what you're going to do, I'm going to have you put your hand out, okay, the opposite hand. So if my right leg's forward, my left arm is forward like this, and then we're going to go into a knee circle. So it looks like this, okay? So we drop in. Okay, so we let that knee drop in as I'm leaning forward. We go around in a circle, and then we push back with our quad. Okay, so we're going to drop forward, which is going to load the quad and the glute and the hamstring. Okay, then we're going to move around to the side, and then we're going to push up. Now, this exercise is a super high payoff drill because as I'm rotating my leg through, I'm activating all of the joint receptors in my ankle, all of the joint receptors in my knee, the joint receptors in my hip, and also in my upper trunk and my neck, because I have to move in a circle. So my vestibular system is getting a ton of stimulus as well. Okay, so the movement is real nice and fluid. I'm going to have my arm forward as if I'm walking. This arm back here, okay, is kind of locked. So I want your lat tight. I want your abs pulled in. I want your back glute. So the planted glute needs to be tight because this is your stabilizer. and then we're going to go in a circle, okay? So it's boom here, drop to the inside, go to the outside, and then push back, okay? So drop inside and lean forward, half circle around, push back to standing. Drop in, forward, half circle around, and up. And my upper body is nice and solid the whole time, okay? So my whole body is tense in an isometric postural contraction, and I'm gonna come up. So I'm gonna do about 5 of those one direction, then we're gonna switch. Now, if you're tired after 5, then go ahead and switch to the other leg and go to the inside. But the reverse direction looks like this. We went in, around, out, and up. Now we're gonna go out. So instead of going this way, we're gonna go to the outside, lean, inside, and push up. That one's a little bit more challenging, okay? You go outside, lean, around, and push up. So you're getting more of the medial structures kicking in as you push up. Outside, lean, around, and push up. Outside, lean, around, and push up, okay? So you want to go out 5 reps each direction, each leg, okay? Now here's something really cool, is that if you have resistance bands that you can anchor to a door, okay? Or you can tie it around a squat rack like this, okay? Or any fixed object that's not gonna move, you can add a whole other dimension of proprioceptive feedback with a band, okay? And it's gonna be the exact same form, but now you have the band around your knee. So I'm gonna have you put it above your knee, okay? And I'm gonna have you move to the side, okay? So we're gonna be this way. So then you're gonna have to push in on the band and then go around and then push up, okay? So you're gonna do 5 reps where you're pushing to the inside, around, and push up. Inside on the band, around, and push up, okay? Then when you wanna go the other direction, you're gonna turn around, okay? So we have the band hooked up to the door of the anchor here, and now we're gonna go the opposite direction, okay? So now we're pushing this way on the band or out on the band. So you get a lateral push and lean, go around in a circle and push up. Lateral push and lean, around the circle, push up. Lateral push, lean, around the circle, push up. Lateral push, lean, around the circle, push up. Again, 5 in each direction. Now, what that does when you add a band to mobility exercises is it adds a strength component, okay? So not only are you activating your joint receptors, but you're improving the stability strength of the joint in question, which is your ankle, then your knee, and then your hip, and then your core, all right? So adding bands to mobility drills, okay, or mobility drills is really, really powerful. And we have a ton of that stuff inside the MS Gym, but this is particular to being really strong in that standing phase so that you can do whatever you want. You can walk, you can change directions, any of that. So this is a really, really high payoff drill, okay? All right. So next drill we're gonna go to is gonna work on the arm swing, okay? So a lot of times when people go to therapy, when people go to a trainer or a specialist or do some online program or whatever else, a lot of people train the legs, okay? And legs is really important, but they train the walking mechanics of legs, but they forget about the upper body mechanics of walking, okay? Your upper body and the ability to rotate side to side and your arm's ability to move and work with your legs is super duper important, okay? You can't have one without the other. Because as I take a step, okay, and this arm's coming forward, this arm being forward and this leg being forward is a major stabilization for your body, okay? So, and then as this leg moves forward into flexion, and then this arm comes forward into flexion, that helps counterbalance the fall to the inside, okay? So the moving of the arms is a counterbalance to you walking every single step. And the major muscle that plays a part in that is the lat muscle, okay? The lats start up here and they run all the way down to your sacroiliac crest. You got your, sacroiliac joint, this sacral fascia down here, lumbosacral fascia. And then what happens is these fibers go here, and then the lat connects this shoulder to this hip. The lat connects this shoulder to this hip. So if you have stronger lats on this side, this hip works better. stronger lats on this side, this hip gets stronger, okay? So we're gonna do lat strengthening in a staggered stance as if we were walking. So what we're gonna do is again, get in that hip width position. You're gonna take a step forward. Now, it's not as imperative to have that heel all the way off the ground, but I do want about 60% of your weight in your front leg, 40% of your weight in your back leg. Now, back leg, I want you to squeeze your glutes, okay? I want you to pull your abs in. I want you to pull your shoulder blades down. I want you to get up nice and tall. You're gonna take a resistance band of any type, okay, and put this out in front of you. Now, we're gonna work on, since I'm in this position walking, this arm's forward, the right arm wants to come back. So if my right leg is forward, I want my right lat really strong, moving back like that so that I can load my kinetic chains and move my body forward. So with the right leg forward, the right arm's gonna pull back. So right leg forward, left leg back, squeeze butt, pulling gut, pull up blades, locking in here. We're gonna go 8 repetitions and we're gonna pull straight down. Looks like this, okay? And it's 1, 2, hold, feel that lat, and then let it come back up slow. 1, 2, hold, feel that lat, come back up slow. 1, 2, hold, feel that lat, come back in slow. We're gonna go 5 reps because I gotta tell you something. 1, 2, hold, coming back up slow. Last one. 1, 2, hold, coming back up nice and slow. So here's something really cool I forgot to say before. As I'm pulling back on this band, I'm getting what's called an isokinetic movement. So I'm moving from one point to another point. This movement right here is activating your cerebellum, which is the balance centers of your brain and the area of your brain responsible for accuracy, balance, and coordination of movement. The other arm up here that is not moving becomes a reflexive stability activator for your brainstem. So you get a deeper brainstem stimulus and you work on an isometric contraction of your anterior deltoid, which is super important that as you take a step, that anterior deltoid needs to swing forward with the opposite hip flexor to propel you forward. So this movement, this lat pull, is super functional, very resistance-based, and it will get you really strong and really balanced really quick, all right? So if we're gonna do the other leg, same thing. Now left foot forward, right foot back. I'll go this way, okay? So we're gonna squeeze our back glute, pull those abs in, spine nice and tall, blades are down, okay? So remember, as I take a step forward, my right arm comes forward with my left leg. So my right arm is gonna be my stabilizer. My left arm, my left lat is what we wanna activate. So up nice and tall, we're gonna pull back 2, hold for 3, and come up 1, okay? So it's a 1, 2, hold, 2, 3, get that isometric brain mapping contraction, and then come back up nice and slow, okay? Down 2, hold, 2, 3, and up nice and slow. Back 2, hold, 2, 3, up nice and slow. 2 more. Back 2, hold, 2, 3, coming back up nice and slow. Down 2, hold, 2, 3, and come up nice and slow. Now, as I'm doing this and I'm in this isometric contraction, look at what's happening in my body. I have so many muscles in an isometric contraction right now. When that happens, it's going to improve the ability of your brain to find all of your walking muscles, find all your locomotive muscles or your ambulatory muscles, and your balance stimulus is going to go boom and get super increased. So by standing in a stagger stance and working on unilateral movement, okay, unilateral movement with reflexive isometrics, that's going to connect your brain in to the right side, to the left side, cross patterning, joint receptor, muscles, nerves, everything in your body. So this is how we train high mobility, is we put you in functional positions and have you strength train in those functional positions. So I'm in pretty good shape and I do this stuff all day long. And I can tell you, just from doing that isometric holding, I'm already starting to sweat. Okay. And that was an upper body movement, quote unquote, but I was using my whole body to stabilize and anchor as I moved my upper body. Okay, so this is how we put things together. This is how you turn your current workout into a brain-based movement program by throwing in exercises that activate multiple parts of the brain in at the same time in multiple directions, so that you can increase your functional capacity, so that you get stronger all over. All right. There is a time and a place for isolated strength training for one muscle group at a time. Okay. There's a time and place for that. But for the purposes of this workshop, this is how we get stronger globally as a whole and work on the neuromuscular integration of your brain, your joints, your nerves, and your muscles all at the same time, so that everything that you do, you get way more results and you can get it done in a shorter amount of time. All right. Okay, cool. So let's move to the next slide here. So the next thing that we're going to be working on here is the posterior kinetic chain. Okay. So if you look at this and all these muscles in the blue, this is what we're going to be working on in the next two exercises. So we want to work on the lower leg muscles, which are important for ankle stability and counteracting foot drop. We want to work on these hip flexors and quads, which obviously is going to correct the gait patterns and improve the way that you walk, getting rid of things like circumduction gait, knee kiss, knee hyperextension, and being able to lift your hip flexor how you want to. The glutes, both the big daddy glute max right here, and then the top of it, the big glute medius, which is going to prevent you from falling over. And then we work the muscles all the way up through the lat, through the erector spinae, and then also through the tricep, the forearm, the posterior deltoid. All right. So both of these exercises combined are going to target every single one of those muscles. Cool. All right. So let's move on. Let's move to that. So in order to get the hips dynamically activated, I love doing what are called monster walks. Okay. So you want to have a band like this. So this is a fabric, or you can do a latex or an elastic hip band. Okay. So you're just going to slip this on your legs. Okay. And we're going to do monster walks. Now, a lot of times you see people do these to the side, which you can do 100%. What I like to do for people with gait training is do them forward and backwards, okay, and work on the diagonal. So I'm going to have you start in a position where you're outside of your hips just a little bit. I want you to really push out on that band, and you're going to continue to push out on that band the entire set. So you want that isometric time under tension, so that you really work on strengthening your glutes, your hip stabilizers, and also your lower body stabilizers down here in the lower leg, which can counteract a lot of spasticity in your leg. So as we do this, we're going to mimic our gait pattern. So as I step forward with my right leg, I'm going to move my left arm forward. As I step forward with the left, I'm going to move my right forward. And I'm going to pause in between every single rep to make sure that I'm pushing out on these bands, to make sure that I'm pulling my abs in and my blades are down, and to make sure I'm in a nice tall spine. Again, the more isometric postural activation that we can get during each exercise turns it into a neurologic high payoff drill and gets you more results in a shorter amount of time. All right, so here we go, monster walks. So we're going to get set, get everything rocking and rolling, and right leg forward, left arm forward, and it's a step. So you can see here there's a diagonal contraction of that band. I want to keep pushing out on that band. I'm going to lean forward into that front leg. I'm going to lock my lats down so I'm nice and tight. And then you notice I'm rotated towards that front leg. Now, as I step and move into the left leg, you're going to see my trunk rotate toward that leg as well. So it looks like this, locking in and boom. So do you see that transition? Watch my upper body. So we go from here to here. So we also get rotation in here, which is going to activate what's called our spinal coil, which moves us forward when we walk. So we're locking in here, everything's tight, and we step, and we hold. Make sure I'm pushing out on the band, abs are in, lats are down, nice and tall, opposite arm leg, and I step, okay? Notice I'm not coming together, I'm keeping it nice and wide, because that keeps the glutes activated, okay? And I step, boom. Get everything stable, I'm leaning forward, and I step, boom. And I rotate, okay? Once I get to the end of my hallway or whatever I'm doing, now I'm going to go backwards, okay, which is going to be a ton of vestibular stimulus. And most people don't move backwards. So it's going to be really activating for your brain, and it's going to help you improve your balance really quickly. Okay. So it's the same deal. I'm going to step back with this leg, and then this arm's going to come up. So it looks like this. It's step back. Okay. And then it's step back. So notice I'm kind of in a reverse position here, because normally I'd be like this going forward, but this way I'm going back. So I reverse the chain. So now this arm is going towards the leg stepping back. This arm is going towards the leg stepping back. This arm is going towards the leg stepping back. And we continue that way. All right. So one more time, I'm going to show you. Just watch how I move, and then think about and pay attention to the fact that I'm activating my glutes, I'm activating my core, and I'm activating my shoulders while keeping my spine nice and elongated. So I'm hitting all of my kinetic chains all at one time. All right, here we go. So it looks like this. Step and hold. Find those abs. Step and hold. Find those abs. Step and hold. I'm always in forward intent, forward leaning. Step and hold. So I step and I lean. That's where I hold. Step and lean. Hold. Step and lean. Okay? And if you get those little oopsies in your balance, that's good, because my brain corrected it, which means that I stimulated my cerebellum to make a mistake and then fix it. Okay? Again, backwards. Looks like this. Step and lean. Okay? Step and lean. 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 Boom. Okay? So that's the mantra walk. So as you can see, super activating. As you can see, I got a little sweat on my brow here, all right? So we are getting a warm-up, okay? We are getting a workout. If you're someone who has high mobility and you're in super good shape, this might be your movement prep. This might be what you use to get ready for your workout, which in fact, I'm gonna do right after this. I got heavy weights today, but I always do a warm-up or a movement prep like this first to get all my kinetic chains kicking in, okay? All right, so staying on the theme of posterior kinetic chain, we are gonna do what's called a tempo stagger squat, all right? So a stagger squat is doing a squat, but you're just having 1 foot forward and one foot back. The back toe is lining up with the front heel, and I am about hip width apart, okay? This is not a stagger squat, okay? That's gonna get you into a hard balance challenge. So you start out slightly wider than your hips, take that step forward, okay? You are gonna lean a little bit forward, so about 70, 80% of your weight is in that front leg, okay? So you're kind of here. Now, what I'm gonna do with this band is I'm gonna slip this under my front foot, and then I'm gonna hold it with the opposite hand. So you can see as I pull up, there's a diagonal line of tension that goes across to the other side. Now, what I said before is that this shoulder is connected to this hip through the posterior kinetic chain. So as I come up out of this movement, I'm gonna squeeze my lats. I'm gonna squeeze this glute. So this lat, this glute, pull my abs in. I have a massive stimulus of my posterior kinetic chain. All right. So you are getting rotation, you are getting lateral movement, you're getting sagittal movement, you're getting frontal plane movement, so you're activating your whole body. So how we do this is just like a normal squat, is we're gonna sit back with our hips, okay? Sit back with our hips, both knees bend at the same time, and we slightly lean forward. Now the whole time I'm keeping this lat engaged, so as I push up, I'm gonna be pushing from this glute and pulling from this lat, so that as I stand, boom, you got this posterior kinetic chain activation across this side of my body, okay? So it looks like this, 5 reps. So sitting up nice and tall, I preload my lat, abs are in, I shift my weight so that I feel activation in this glute, okay? So I'm ready to roll. So it's down, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, up, 2, 3, hold, 2, find the lat, find the glute, okay? So down, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, up, 2, 3, hold, 2, okay? Lat and butt, okay? Abs tight. Down, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, up, 2, 3, lat, glute. Down, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, up, 2, 3, lat, glute, okay? So make sure that as you do this, you're pushing from here. Now watch the lower body. Down, 2, 3, feel the stretch here, hold, 2, 3. Now activate the glute, push up, 2, 3, finish it with the lat. Down, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3. Now drive the hip forward, up, 2, 3, pull the abs in, lock the lat. Okay? That's 5 reps. I'm sweating, dude. All right? So then we would do the same thing on the other side. So when you have multiple joints and multiple muscles activated through using resistance bands in the patterns and in the direction of the kinetic chains, not just for standard resistance training, you turn this into a massive functional strengthener. And there's so many people that I have in the MS gym right now that are doing an exercise program that includes all these type of movements. And people that were struggling with their gait, their balance, their spasticity, all that kind of stuff are thriving. They're like, I didn't know I could feel this good. I actually got done with 20 minutes of doing your workout, Coach T, and I literally could walk normal. And my husband noticed, or my wife noticed, or my kids noticed, because we're activating the whole body and the whole nervous system and the whole myofascial system by doing it this way. All right? So that's tempo stagger squat and monster walks. Okay? So by slowing down the way that you do movement, by doing a tempo, but you increase the motor control coming from your brain, and that is going to stimulate so many parts of your brain that your brain can't help to get better because so many things are being connected by this method of strength training. Okay? All right. Last one. We're rocking it, dude. Lots of people are staying on. I love it. Okay. Where am I at here? Remove, add. Okay. And add. Okay, so the last one that we're going to do here is something called an asymmetrical carry. All right. So we're going to hold something heavy in one side of our body, and we're going to prevent it from tipping to the side as we walk. Now, when we do that, we're going to activate the lateral chain, which again, kind of, you can see that many muscles overlap throughout your kinetic chains because that's the way your body was created as an integrated system. So as we do this asymmetrical carry, we're going to work on activating the lats on the side that we are carrying, the quadratus lumborum on the opposite side of where the weight is, the hip stabilizers on the side that the weight is, the hamstring on the side the weight is, and the adductors on the opposite side. So this asymmetrical carry works on this lateral kinetic chain, and then it also works on what's called your anterior kinetic chain. So this exercise is going to work your pecs, your obliques, your abdominals, your adductors, and then the muscles, these anterior anterior tibialis muscles in your lower leg, which is going to counteract your foot drop. Okay, so here we go. Now with this, you don't have to have you can do this with things other than weights. All right, so you could do this with a heavy milk jug. You could do this with a bag of groceries. You could do this with a bag of sand. It's super inexpensive to create heavy stuff, right? You find a bag, you fill it up with dirt, fill it up with rocks, fill it up with sand, fill it up with books, and you can do this all day long. So what you want to do here is you're going to pick up something heavy, and I would recommend starting with probably about 10% of your body weight, all right? Now, this is only 35 pounds for me, so 10% of my body weight would be like a 20, so it's a little bit more than 10%. Like, what would that be? So this is a 30, so it's 15%, okay? So what we're going to do here is we're going to hold this heavier weight, and we're going to walk very slow in a very intentional way. Now, when you hold this weight, what I don't want is for you to just let it pull you down or hyperextend your elbow. You're going to lock your shoulder blade. So pull the shoulder blade down. You're going to grip tight on the weight, and you're going to hold that elbow just slightly bent. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to walk, and your entire goal is, because the weight's on this side, is as you take a step, not allow your body to tip towards the weight. So you're preventing this from happening, which is really working on this QL muscle right here, okay? And really working on the glutes and the adductor complexes between both legs. So here we go. So we're holding this weight, locking it down. I'm finding blades pulled down, nice tall spine. I'm going to start with my foot forward, okay? And I'm going to slowly step up and not let myself tip, and I'm going to plant, okay? I'm going to slow walk, and I'm going to plant. And the weight will move forward and back a little bit. Don't worry about that. Just let it go naturally where it wants to go. Then I'm going to step forward and plant. Then I'm going to step forward and plant. Then I'm going to step forward and plant. And then I'm going to turn around, okay? So like we were saying at the beginning, in that swing phase, as I'm going into that swing phase of walking, this movement from going from here, right when my foot lifts, all the way to there, you're only on one leg. And for your body and your brain to feel safe doing that, it doesn't want to fall to the side. It doesn't want to fall backwards. It doesn't want to rotate. It wants to stay in this rotational pattern and then go to the next rotational pattern like we were doing in those monster walks. So slow motion wise, I'm rotating from my right to my left as my right arm comes forward and my left leg comes forward. All right. So this is a strength training exercise for the deep core, the spine, the glutes, your brainstem, your cerebellum, to hold that thing as you step forward. Okay. So again, other side, locking it in here. And it's a step. Find your balance, find BGB, lock everything in. Step. 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 And I would say don't move until you feel all this stuff kicking in. Step. Step. Okay. And then you can just turn around and go back. So again, you want to find your butts, your guts, your blades, your spine in between every rep and make sure that you're nice and stable so that your brain feels really confident in that stagger stance loaded phase. So it's here, step, feel comfortable. Step, feel comfortable. Step, feel comfy. Step, feel comfy. And notice my arms going back in coordination with the way my leg is wanting to go naturally, right? Again, it's the same thing. Step, left arm forward. Step, right arm forward. Step, left arm forward. Step, right arm forward. Step, and notice I'm straight up and down. I'm not falling to one side or the other, okay? So I like to put carries at the end of my workouts. Why? Because they're so integrated, right? There's so many things going on and there's so many parts of my body kicking in that after I do my mobility warm-up, then I do my weight training with possible plyometrics and stuff like that in there. My body's all like, we're having a party. And then I do a nice, slow, methodical, intentional, loaded carry like that, whether it's one side or both sides. I recommend starting out with one side. That's going to kind of like tie everything together. So it's kind of like it ties my workout up into a nice bow and sends me out into the rest of my day fully activated, fully strengthened, and then fully integrated to go on and walk better, move better, and live my life better. All right. So as you can see, look, like that was sweaty. All right. I've been doing this. Obviously, I'm talking and I'm moving around and all that kind of stuff, but this is no joke, right? This kind of training will increase your metabolism. It will improve cardiopulmonary function. You will get a cardiovascular workout, like a low zone 2, low zone 3 cardiovascular workout doing stuff like this in a circuit, which has been shown to improve hippocampal cells, to reduce neurologic inflammation, to improve cortical function, to improve brainstem and cerebellar function. You're going to get cardiovascular on top of strength training, which is amazing. So this way of training works on mobility. It works on strength. It works on endurance. It works on flexibility. It works on balance. It works on coordination. It works on the full neurologic pattern of sensory input, cortical integration, and then motor output so that your brain can start to function better. Okay. So this is how we do this. This is an awesome circuit to put together, right? So you hit the lower body knee circles, you hit the lat pulls to get the shoulders functioning. You work on the monster walks, getting the rotational aspect between upper and lower body. Then you're going to be working on that kinetic chain of going into that stagger squat. And then you're going to finish it with that asymmetrical carry, which is going to tie all your walking patterns together and light up your whole nervous system. So I love this. I get fired up about this. I'm getting louder. It's because I'm nuts. And I'm really, I love what I do. And I love training people like this. So for those of you that are high mobility, and you're looking for a program, I actually launched a high mobility neuro performance training program about 9 weeks ago, and it's called NXT, Neurologic Cross Training. Okay, that's what NXT stands for. So we're doing a beta test right now, and as that program wraps up, I will be launching an NXT program. And so for those of you watching right now that want a structured neurologically based, brain-based strength, conditioning, endurance, balance, symptom counteracting program, NXT is for you. So when I was talking about those people that were using that staggered stance with the band being like, oh my gosh, I walked so much better after my one session I did, that's the program I'm talking about. So if you are ready for that, check your email, because we are going to be sending out emails to you to just see if you have interest in this. If you want a structured program, if you want personalized coaching from me, because I'm the only one coaching that group right now, I'm your guy. We have a community built into it. We have everything set up for you, and it is an amazing program. We're getting amazing results, and I'm super fired up if you're ready to rock and roll with that. All right. So I love you guys. I super appreciate you being here. For those of you that have been on multiple workshops this week, thank you for the time and your attention. Hopefully you kind of found your groove of like where you're at. Like Kelly B, I know you just said, is there a lighter version of this? The exercises that I did on Wednesday in that, I'm sorry, this in the standing strong workshop, this was moving strong. I missaid that at the beginning. I'm sorry. But the standing strong workshop from Wednesday, that's going to kind of be your jam. If you have more symptoms, if you use more mobility devices, if you use more assistive devices, that's going to be your jam. All right. The moving strong people, which is what we did today, that's going to be more of an NXT candidate. All right. So Patty, yeah, NXT program, look at it. Definitely go in. We will send you out emails and we'll get you guys fired up. So happy Friday or Saturday, wherever you're at. I hope you all enjoy your weekend. I hope you all integrate this stuff. I will post up the exercises in the description above, like the list of exercises and like recommended rep ranges. But again, this is only a minor mini circuit of what we do inside the MS gym. And this is the stuff that gets me fired up, because this is where change happens. Neuro performance training is what protects your brain, slows down progression, and counteracts your symptoms. And that's why we're all here. So I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I will see you on your next workshop or inside the MS gym. Have an awesome weekend.